Welcome to the New Zonderlings podcast, where we explore the weird and bizarre. Here are your hosts, Noah and Jeanette.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to New Zonderlings. My name is Noah, and I'm joined by my co-host, Jeanette.
This week, I have an interesting story for everyone about an alien hybrid spy, or hybrid alien spy.
What is that, Jeanette?
This is a really weird story with lots of weird twists and turns that are beyond bizarre.
Well, that's what we do. Weird and... I'm trying not to use the word interesting because I have a problem. As the listeners might know, I got called out on this by one of our listeners that I used the word interesting at least 1,000 times per episode. So I'm going to try to not use that as much this episode. So if my vernacular is subpar today, you know why.
I was thinking about offering to take you to get a tattoo that says interesting.
I will stab you.
Oh, you don't want that?
Host on host violence is not uncommon.
Well, it's not like I'm going to hold you down and make you get it.
Why would I get a tattoo that says interesting?
Because it's your favorite word.
It's not my favorite word. My favorite word is bubble.
Why?
Because just say it, bubble.
Bubble?
Yeah, see, isn't that nice? Bubble, bubble,
What
bubble.
about fork?
I hate that. Don't do that.
You hate the word fork?
Don't do that.
Why?
I don't like that. What's the story?
Okay, we're just going to jump right in because it's a pretty long story and I want to get it all in this episode. So
We don't want any,
we don't like two-parters. At least I don't like them. No one might like them, but I was like, no.
I don't know. We've never done a two-part episode, so
It always has bugged me when I've been listening to podcasts, then you got to wait another week to hear the rest of it. And
that's a good point.
It always
Yeah,
kind of aggravates me. So
on with the show, I suppose.
we're fitting this all in this time, okay? So on July 17th of 2015, so this story has a little bit of age on it, police were called to a parked SUV with a dead body inside.
Oh, wow.
The deceased person had been in the vehicle decomposing for 2 weeks.
So what's that leave?
Well, we'll get into it later on in the story.
Okay.
But this takes place in California.
So it's hot.
Yeah.
So
in July. California in July.
So the body's melting.
It's really gross, but yes. So the world is full of weird people who act strange and unusual, but this story is beyond any fantasy the most inventive, clever person could imagine in their most creative daydream.
Did you write this?
I did.
Oh, wow. I'm impressed.
And it's all true. It's a true story.
True story. That's all we cover here. True stories.
We're beginning with Jeffrey Allen Lash. He was a spy, a hybrid alien, and had superpowers, or so he claimed.
You lost me.
And he managed to convince others he was all these things and more. I'm not going to tell you who the dead body is yet. We're going to hold off on that.
It's not Jeffrey?
You're going to find out.
Okay.
Well-respected citizens of Pacific Palisades believed Mr. Lash was everything he claimed to be. So do you know where that is?
No, I have no idea.
The Palisades,
I've heard of it, but I don't.
it's by Santa Monica, I believe.
Oh, I've been to Santa Monica.
You have been to Santa Monica Pier.
Yeah.
Noah got to take a cross-country road trip.
I did.
I was very jealous.
I was very lucky, as we have talked about before. Straight out of high school, a buddy of mine, we took his now wife and my ex-girlfriend cross-country to California on Route 66.
I would have killed for a trip like that after high school.
Yeah, it was amazing.
I bet it was. Was it amazing?
It was so great.
It was so great. Okay, back to the story. Michelle Lyons had been in a relationship with Lash since mid-1980s. They met while Lyons was in a failing relationship with another man. Lyons described Lash as intense and authentic. He told her stories full of rich detail. They began seeing each other, and Lyons ended their previous relationship to be with Lash. Lash moved in with her in 1986, and she thought the world of him. Lyons said he was a good listener and was more present than any other man she had ever been with. But there are some issues in the relationship. Lash was angry a lot and seemed unable to control his emotions. Like a lot of women, she thought she could fix him. It's a common mistake. After some time, Lyons started inquiring about his family, his job, and other personal details, and that usually resulted in Lash becoming tense and getting angry. He did eventually tell her he was a former government agent with top security clearance. Lash said he was involved in many counterterrorism operations, hostage rescues, and rescued people from cults. Like 13 Club. No.
That was...
No.
Don't be rude.
Don't be rude. Lash claimed to own a company that employed highly skilled, dangerous operatives who were 100% loyal to him. So that's going to come into the story quite a bit.
I see.
Lyons believed this because he owned many firearms and was very familiar with them and trained her to shoot. He went out of town occasionally for training or a mission, in quotes. His stories were very detailed and convincing. Lash went to work Monday through Friday and was home almost every evening. So what do you think about this guy so far? Do you think he's full of it?
Yeah, of course I do. I think he's a liar.
I think that's probably going to be most people's assumption.
Yeah.
In 1987, Lyons bought a 3-bedroom condo in Santa Monica. Lyons ran a successful computer consulting firm, so she had some dough because it costs a lot of money to live in Santa Monica.
No kidding.
Lash insisted that he have a bedroom for his top secret stuff and kept it locked.
All right, that's not suspicious at all.
He ordered Lyons never to enter the room under any circumstances. Lash also gave
murder room, apparently.
Murder. Is that what you think it is?
That's what I think it is.
Lash also gave Lyons the impression that upper staff of the anti-terror team he worked with monitored them at all times.
Yeah, no, that's not raising any red flags.
It's not creepy at all.
No. Oh, we're being watched 24/7, by the way, honey. Just to let you know.
I have people that watch you, so don't go in my room.
Yeah.
There are snipers watching you just to see if you enter that room.
Don't go into my murder room. I'll have you shot.
Okay, Lash also liked some of the more questionable things. He had a psychic and a healer he worked with, codenamed Tara, for her protection. So we got to protect this psychic healer named Tara.
Psychic healer, huh?
A psychic healer. Lash considered her one of his most valuable colleagues. He claimed that no one could find Tara because he taught her how to live under the radar and off the grid. You ever want to live off the grid, Noah?
Oh, God.
There's a lot of people that talk about that.
Sometimes I wish I could live off the grid, but I enjoy the internet too much to do that.
I know. It'd be awful hard.
It would.
Lyons paid for everything in their life. She paid for the condo, all their food, all the entertainment, and she even paid for military-grade material Lash needed for his top-secret missions. Which,
yeah,
again, you know, if you work for a government agency,
you work for the government, surely they would provide that.
Well, he said he used to work, technically. So now he owns his own anti-terrorism company.
But he's not sponsored by the government?
I know, it's all very strange.
That is very strange.
Yeah.
How is he making his money? He's not. He's just mooching off this poor lady.
Well, Lyons over time started to lose more and more of her freedom to Lash's odd demands. Jokingly, one day, she said, "You're so weird, you must be an alien." To which he replied, "You don't know how right you are." You're being sarcastic.
If someone said that to me, I'd leave. There's no hanging around that person. They're insane. They're clinically insane. You need to leave.
What if
you're not safe anymore?
What if they're really an alien, though?
That's not how that works.
So you're a cynic. I gotcha.
Of course I am.
He's the non-believer.
Oh, I believe it. All right. Let's get into it. I believe in aliens, but you don't send a human being to Jupiter to investigate. You send a probe. I don't believe that aliens, they do exist. They are out there in the universe. But
you just don't think they're here.
They're not here. Okay. No, they're not here. The only aliens that are here are ones that are those microorganisms that have landed off of asteroids.
Octopuses.
Octopi. Exactly. I believe those are alien. have adapted from their microorganism off of an asteroid into this amazing creature. But I digress. I'm off my soapbox. Go ahead.
So far, we have this guy, Jeffrey Lash. He's dating Michelle Lyons. And Lyons is paying for everything. And this was the mid-'80s. So we're going to jump ahead now to 1998. So they've been living together all this time. 13 years. Lash tells Lyons that he needs to move out for a while for a national security emergency that requires immediate attention. Lash moved in with a couple in Pacific Palisades. Their names were Catherine Nebrun and Phil Gorin. Hope I'm saying their names right. Nebrun was a close friend of Lyons. Okay, so they know each other.
Where is this going?
Gorin was a dentist who had a practice in Brentwood, so nearby town. This situation was meant to be temporary, originally 2 weeks, but Lyons would end up living there indefinitely. I put Lyons, that's supposed to be Lash. Editorial mistake. It happens. He never returns to live with Lyons. So he was only supposed to stay with these people who were their friends.
I'm sorry, this whole thing's just so stupid.
Oh, this situation gets really bizarre.
Okay, I'm listening.
He's left Lyons to live with this couple.
He's now with their friends couple.
However, he kept their relationship going and went shooting in the desert every weekend with her and dined out with her together, regularly.
Yeah, but she paid for it all.
Yeah. Nebrun and Lyons spoke frequently and agreed to both help Lash in his fight to save the world.
Nope, you lost me again.
So, this reminds me of like a cult leader. You know how cult leaders are really charismatic and they convince normal people to believe really stupid stuff. I almost said another word.
This is family friendly.
You got to keep it PG. But, my opinion of it is it's bull. But
it sounds
these
insane.
are educated, well-respected people.
Clearly. One of them was a dentist.
Lyons ran a successful computer consulting firm.
Yeah, you're not...
The guy's a dentist. These are educated, well-off people. So I'm wondering how charismatic you would have to be to convince people of that kind of thing.
Apparently not very. Oh, you're not too far off from me being an alien. That's dumb. Don't say that.
That is kind of a weird way to say things. Well, in my humble opinion, I believe that that part of it only came in because she said that. That was like a light bulb moment for him.
Oh, this is a way for him to control her more.
Maybe.
Manipulate her more. I'd believe that.
Yeah. So Lash is starting a relationship with Nebrun at this point. So he's still seeing Lyons, and Lyons and Nebrun are friends. He goes out to dinner with Lyons almost every night, and they go to the desert to shoot on weekends. But then he starts a relationship with Nebrun, which, if you remember, is married to the dentist.
Yeah. How's he start a relationship with a married woman?
Lyons even continues to make nightly trips to the Palisades to deliver cash, food.
Oh my gosh.
Ice.
Yes.
So I'm going to tell you why she brings some ice here in a second, okay? Merchandise, he was ordering things offline, getting stuff from Amazon.
Getting his Amazon packages. And why didn't he just have them delivered to the Palisades?
Well, that's part of his...
Oh, that's
I'm a
right.
spy. Nobody can know where I am.
He's undercover or whatever.
Right, yeah. He required a special chef that cost $1,785 a week.
Oh my gosh.
He wanted things that he wanted Lyons to buy for him. An example of that is she bought him 2 healing frequency machines costing $12,000 each.
Oh my goodness.
She rented storage facilities for him to keep all his crap. I'm not sure where this is, all from newspaper articles. So hopefully the reporting is correct. But I found that was costing her $9,800 a year. Just in storage fees to store his
sakes. All this money she's just throwing down the drain on some psychopath.
So Lyons does this in fear.
Fear?
Remember, his upper staff is watching her
right.
at
my
all
gosh.
times.
I kind of didn't think she believed it. I just don't believe it myself. So this whole time I'm like, oh, well,
Yeah, that's bullcrap.
she can just leave this whole time. No, she's afraid she's
She
gonna get murdered.
honestly believes that there are top secret operatives watching her at all times.
Yeah, there's people watching her.
While living with Nebrun and Goring, Lash starts working on isolating them from the outside world. He convinced them of the same dangers he managed to convince. There's going to be a pause because I gotta get this. Lyons of. Lash had the water turned off in the Nebrun's condo and demanded the windows remain shut at all times, claiming that the moisture was bad for his guns and weapons. So that's why Lyons was delivering ice, because he turned off their refrigerator.
Oh my gosh. This guy's insane.
He also did some real weird things to their condo.
I don't like that.
He put up false walls.
What?
Yeah. He assembled a labyrinth inside their condo and restricted their movements to small spaces. Nebrun, the girl he's dating now behind her husband's back, slept on the floor in the bathroom. He gave her a bathroom. That was her area. I actually saw a picture of this when I was doing my research. It was really sad. You obviously know that she's living in this tiny bathroom because there's shelves over the toilet with books and all sorts of stuff on it, and her clothes are kind of in the corner. It's really bizarre. Nebrun stated that Lash hit her several times and threatened her with fines.
Oh my gosh.
I know. So now he's getting violent with her.
So, okay, where's the other guy that she's married to?
I'm inferring from the information I got that he kept them separated for their own safety.
Oh my gosh.
If you get my drift.
He's going to stab him or shoot him.
He also required Nebrun to stay in the condo at all times to guard his stuff. Okay? So nobody could touch any of his stuff. Now, this is their house, not his.
Yeah.
It is bizarre. How do you convince somebody just to give up the freedoms in their own home? It's really weird to me.
I guess it doesn't take much.
Gorin claimed that Lash placed a gun against his head and demanded that he continue to provide the cash he needed to carry out his missions. In all, Goring forked over $2.5 million. Are
you serious?
Lash. He's a dentist in, nearby in Brentwood, which is near Santa Monica and the Palisades. So he makes money.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, and he gave it all to the psychopath.
You may be wondering why all these people would do this.
Oh, yes. Yes, I am.
They also said he was extremely convincing and he had evidence to back up his claims.
Oh, I'm sure.
So, they're look at all these military grade weapons he has and all this gear and all this, that he must be telling the truth, right?
Well, yeah, he bought it with your money. What do you...
He told Nebrun that he employed over 200,000 operatives at his company and was responsible for thwarting 2/3 of the post-9/11 bomb and terrorist threats. They thought they were helping people and sacrificing for the greater good.
No.
No?
No. No.
You don't buy it?
How is he... First of all, how is he paying these operatives? Obviously, I know he's getting money from these people, these poor people, but 200,000 people, that's a lot of people.
That is a lot of people.
That's too many.
Yeah, for a top secret organization.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be under the radar.
Yeah, no kidding.
200,000. You think they have company picnics? Anyway.
They'll go to the drive-in theater.
Not surprisingly, Gorin and Nebrun end up getting divorced, and Gorin moves into his dental office, totally broken emotionally and financially. As I can imagine. He literally can't afford a place. He has to sleep in his dental office. Lyons still believes that Lash is going to come back to live with her at some point, and they are still in a relationship together. Don't forget about Lyons. She's on the side there. But it seems Lash has moved on with Nebrun, and shortly after their divorce, she becomes engaged to Lash. Nebrun and Lyons are still good friends and speak on the phone every night. Still. Okay?
But
Nebrun never mentions to Lyons that she's engaged to Lash.
Well, of course not.
You want a cat fight? Lash during this time is becoming ill. At times, he was having trouble eating, walking, and talking. Then around 2011, Nebrun hired a woman named Dawn Van Bunker as her assistant. So what Nebrun did was she managed properties. Okay, so then she hired this lady as her assistant. She was married to a guy named Jim Curry at the time she met Lash. As all relationships do when Lash is involved, she was divorced shortly after.
Wow.
He's like death to all relationships.
Homewrecker.
When Curry was interviewed by a news outlet, he stated that his world was turned upside down when Lash entered their lives. Part of Van Bunker's job was to rent garages all over Southern California, so Lash, who introduced himself to Van Bunker as Bob, could store his vehicles.
Bob.
So he has several vehicles that he stashes all over Southern California in case he needs it while he was out on a mission.
I feel like this is all building to some very sad conclusion.
Well, maybe not. For the most part, correspondence took place between Nebrun and Van Bunker over the phone. They didn't meet in person until early 2015.
Wow.
So
that's a long time.
Well, she never left the house, remember? She has to guard his stuff at all times.
Yeah, she's afraid of getting shot.
Van Bunker believed that Lash was an alien hybrid that worked for the CIA. So this is, well, Bob. Bob was an alien hybrid.
Now he's Bob.
Bob. Curry said that this information turned Van Bunker into another person. So she buys this hook, line, and sinker. Like she has drank all the Kool-Aid.
Ugh.
Van Bunker started eating raw meat.
No.
Which is how Lash liked his filet mignon.
Ugh.
He also told her that he was a reptilian alien.
Oh my God. It just gets worse.
And Van Bunker even told her mother that she witnessed him shapeshift in front of her into a lizard person.
All right. This is just getting ridiculous at this point.
Yeah. And we're going to keep going.
Yeah.
So
gosh, there's more?
Yeah. So Van Bunker also told her mother that Lash, or Bob, was helping her turn into a hybrid alien. So apparently, you don't have to be born an alien hybrid. You can just be turned into one.
Like Bob.
Like Bob. So she mentioned to her mother that her ex-husband Curry drove by and would not be able to see her because she would be invisible. So apparently, if you're an alien hybrid lizard person, you can also become invisible. I don't know. Maybe this is common knowledge amongst all the conspiracy theorists out there, but I did not know that any aliens could be invisible.
Yeah.
Is that a real thing?
I don't know. I don't know either.
I literally have never heard that until I did this story.
Me neither.
So,
they're all invisible. It's how we don't know that they're here.
That's why we can't see them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
I know it's stupid.
Van Bunker defended Lash to her mother by saying that Lash was helping the government with top secret operations on the computer all night and traveling to different solar systems and planets through the computer. Now, to me, this is absolutely screaming cult.
It's a very small cult.
Lash is increasingly getting sick at this point, and a Reiki practitioner named Laura was called in to look at him. Laura, Lash, Nebrun, and Van Bunker parked in the parking lot of a Santa Monica grocery store for a 3-hour healing session. So apparently, he doesn't want anybody in his house of weird labyrinth crap. So they got to meet somewhere else.
The grocery store parking lot.
And instead of going to an actual doctor, he calls a Reiki healer. Now,
of course.
I'm not saying anything bad against natural healers or anything like that. I think that absolutely has a place. And we can do a whole episode about that if you want to, because I got a lot of opinions.
No comment.
But some things really need an actual medical doctor.
I agree.
And I think that he probably really needed an actual doctor. So Laura, the healer, sent healing energy into Lash's stomach and chest. Lash was very sick and could hardly speak. On July 4th of 2015, Lash died in the presence of Nebrun and Van Bunker. Nebrun called her ex-husband, the poor dentist, the destitute dentist, and he helps.
Oh my gosh. Of course he does. He wants his wife back.
This is the most surprising part to me. He helps her. So Lash left them explicit instructions to what to do with his body if he dies.
Oh my gosh.
He told them not to call 911, but to wrap his body in blankets with ice and leave it in his vehicle, and a government agency would collect his body. With the help of Gorin, the two women did this, and they all left his body on the side of the road in his SUV. Van Bunker and Nebrun now fall off the radar.
So curious.
They just disappeared.
They're gone now.
And I guess the dentist just goes back to his office. I don't know. They don't really say what happens to him. Curry, which is Van Bunker's now ex-husband, reports her missing to the police because she doesn't say anything to anyone. She just disappears, and she has kids at home.
Oh my gosh. Now,
I wasn't clear on how many or even what gender they were, because one story says she had one son, and then another place I found 2 daughters. So I don't know. But
interesting.
She has children at home. Meanwhile, remember Michelle Lyons?
Yes.
She still thinks that she is in a relationship with Lash and calls every night to talk to him. Remember her? This poor lady.
What?
Yeah. When she called on July 4th, no one answered, which was very unusual. Like I said, she called every night and talked to Nebrun on the phone because they're friends.
Yeah.
So when nobody ever answers on July 4th, she's sitting there drumming her fingers. Now she thinks something's wrong, right? So she starts thinking about that secret room.
Oh my gosh.
Well, she breaks into it.
Good for her. Break the chains.
But instead of finding sensitive government files and classified data, she found an extremely messy hoarder's den. She did not find a lot of top operative contacts or their real names, but she found information on women in the form of love letters, pictures, and cassette tapes.
No.
She did eventually speak to Gorin 2 weeks later, and he let her know that Lash was dead. So she doesn't find out he's dead for 2 weeks.
This is depressing. I told you it was depressing.
So Nebrun and Van Bunker, they went to Oregon, or so it's reported. And that's what they just hid out there. Nebrun comes back. She sees the SUV is still sitting there, and she's really confused. And she can't see inside because all his vehicles are absolutely blacked out.
Of course they are.
So she doesn't know what to do. So she goes home, and she calls her lawyer.
Oh my gosh.
And guess what the lawyer did? He called the police.
Of course, because it's...
Somebody should be calling the police.
Legally, he has to.
The police show up. They open the door, and there is a dead body in there, badly decomposed because it's Santa Monica in the summer. It's so badly decomposed that they can't really find a cause of death. So that's what we're talking about.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know what to expect, but they packed him in ice, so I imagine all that ice melted, and it was kind of like a hydro cremation. Have you heard of those?
I have, unfortunately.
That's what I'm envisioning. There was just like a skeleton sitting there with a pool of goo at the bottom of it.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of.
That must have been nasty. Anyway, I bet it smelled really bad. Police start to investigate Jeffrey Lash. What they find is beyond belief. They search Nebrun's condo first.
Right.
They found 50,000 music CDs.
What?
1,000 Palm Pilots.
What is that?
Oh my God, you're so young. Who needs 1,000 Palm Pilots?
What's a Palm Pilot?
It was like, think of a BlackBerry before BlackBerries.
Oh.
You couldn't call on it, but it like stored all your information.
Oh my gosh. 1,000 of those?
1,000 of those.
It's like a PDA.
Medieval broadswords.
All right.
Machetes, crossbows, laptops, Gore-Tex jackets. Apparently quite many of them. Yeah. Cameras, shoes, and the list just goes on and on. But this is what you're going to find. He had over 1,200 high-powered assault rifles.
1,200 assault rifles.
1,200 assault rifles. And
How
pistols.
big are these places?
6.5 tons of ammunition.
Oh my God. He just funded.
6.5 tons of ammunition.
He just funded California's whole economy.
And $230,000 in cash.
Wow.
I was unclear as to whether or not this was all his storage sheds too, probably.
I would assume so.
They found a dozen vehicles that were modified SUVs that were combat ready, and even ones modified for desert and underwater terrain.
Oh my gosh.
He had an SUV that could go underwater. Just one of them was bulletproof and worth $100,000.
This guy's like a bad James Bond. You know? This just... he just literally just funded California's military. Like, completely.
I mean, I don't even know. I mean, the one guy did give him $2.5 million.
Yeah.
But as you're going to find out, this stuff is worth way more than that.
Oh my God. Well, yeah, he's getting all that money from all those women.
All these different poor women that have been duped.
No kidding.
So little is known about Lash's time before meeting Lyons. What was discovered was Lash grew up in Westchester, LA. His father was a microbiologist. His mother was a pianist who studied at Juilliard. So very educated, well-respected people.
Very educated.
Lash attended Westchester High School and went to UCLA for a while and then dropped out. They don't believe he ever had a regular job. There's no record of him ever working anywhere.
It's all coming together.
Which could be an argument for him actually being an ex-military.
Don't give me that.
Be. Just because he doesn't have a work record and he dropped out of college. Isn't that when you get recruited?
I don't know. I've never been recruited. I dropped out of college.
Well, that's what all the stories say, okay?
Okay, well.
They found 10 girlfriends. He was conning out of money and juggling at the same time.
Wow.
So he had 10 incomes coming in.
Wow.
And remember Tara?
Yes.
The psychic healer?
Yes.
Who he taught to go off-grid? She vanished without a trace in 2005. A friend of hers said that Lash had been getting more and more angry with Tara leading up to her disappearance because she was unable to heal his illness.
What'd he do? Kill her?
She's never been found.
Oh my gosh.
They don't know what happened to her. Now he tells Lyons that he taught her how to live off the grid.
Yeah, I'd tell someone that too if I murdered them.
I was going to kill him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they're just living off the grid. They know how to do that. I taught them how to do that.
The coroner ruled that Lash died of natural causes, although his body was too decomposed to make a conclusive determination. All the guns were examined and found not to have been obtained illegally or used in any crimes. I bet that took a while.
That must have.
Some material that he had to be exploded at the site because it was too risky to move it.
Oh my goodness.
So he had bomb building material.
Yeah.
Also, this guy is just like, what? Everyone thought he was just a con man and a charlatan. There was one unexplained thing, though. According to Van Bunker's mother, after her daughter met Lash, every time they got together and went anywhere, there was a blackout helicopter that followed them. She said everywhere they went, it didn't matter where or how short, there was this, well, she says the D word, helicopter that followed Van Bunker.
I don't believe that.
Now, that's Van Bunker's mother. And she might be credible because she's like, this guy's a piece of crap and needs to get away from my daughter. Now, interesting note, Van Bunker never comes back.
What do you mean?
She never comes home.
Oh.
She writes her mother a letter saying that, she's met like-minded people and that's where she belongs now.
Oh, no.
And she's going to be a hybrid alien spy.
Oh my gosh.
And she never comes back. She's had to have heard the news about Lash. She never comes back. She's got kids. And now an ex-husband. At least not that I could ever find. I think her mother took her off of the missing person, or her ex-husband did, but Jeffrey Lash did not have a will and his $5 million estate. So all that stuff they collected was worth $5 million.
Wow.
It was left to his estranged cousins.
All that, and it's just going to the cousins.
Well, there was a court battle and went on about that because they didn't want the inheritance because they were against gun violence and stated they would like to see it destroyed. So they didn't want to sell it for money. They were going to destroy all these guns.
You know what? Good for them.
Well, you got a problem. You got these women that are stepping up and saying, hang on a second. It was my money that bought all those guns.
Yeah, that's fair.
So Lyons and Nebrun sued Lash's estate to try to recoup some of their money.
Yeah, I would too.
So both women settled with the estate. I think that I'm not sure how it ever worked out because I couldn't find an actual decision. But I know the judge was weary about releasing the guns to a gun broker. He didn't want to do it. So we're talking about California. They don't, they don't like gun violence out there. So
right, which is understandable. Who would?
I'm not sure what really happened, but if the cousins really didn't want the guns, they probably ended up getting destroyed.
Most likely.
So what do you think about this story?
I'm at a loss, personally. I'm just, how gullible are people? I didn't believe any of that. It's so far-fetched. He's an alien hybrid spy? No. He's a con man.
I think the only thing that I scratched my head about in that was the blackout helicopter.
I don't even believe that either.
Well, I mean, it was sold by a third party. But very little has ever been brought up. I mean, this case is so weird and interesting. I really thought there would be like a lot of TV specials or something about it. But you can't find too much about it.
Yeah, interesting. Well,
is it interesting?
It's very interesting.
I thought you say interesting and I say interesting.
Interesting. Interesting.
Interesting.
Interesting. Anyways, we went a little over today. It was a very long story. You've given me some things to think about. That was sad and depressing.
Yeah, I felt really bad for the couple.
No kidding.
All the women that were duped. The poor Lyons thinking she was still in a relationship with this guy who was engaged to somebody else. And
then dies.
She still thinks there are people outside her window watching her at all times. That poor lady.
I think he's a con man, and he's so good at it that he conned himself as well.
No, you think he's just delusional? I mean, that would be we need a psychiatrist to tell us, but I feel like that's got to be some kind of diagnosis.
I'm sure.
He absolutely lived it, though. It's not like he didn't convince other people of it.
Exactly. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
He convinced himself.
He believed it himself. That's got to be some kind of personality disorder.
Oh, I'm sure.
So I want to know what everyone thought. Use the link in the description to send us a message.
Like what you heard? Like, subscribe, and share us with your friends. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Reddit, and X. Thanks for listening.
You've been listening to the New Zonderlings podcast. Be sure to check out other episodes of this podcast, when Noah and Jeanette will once again explore the weird and bizarre, right here on the New Zonderlings podcast.